Well, good day, everybody. I hope all is well. This is a little bit of a window into some of the things that I like to do, and I hope you enjoy it as well. I'll make it quick. This is an old DAC radio, it's a DAC Mark 9, pretty basic, doesn't have any side bands. It's just a basic C40 channel, 11 meter radio. And I love listening and kind of talking on it a little bit. It's all barefoot, but we keep it like that. And then what we've got here is that's a VFO, a variable frequency oscillator, where I can kind of slide between channels on 11 meter bands. There's some of my test equipment, Simpson 270. Look at that, right? I got a little chatter on the radio. And then we got a Microtana Simpson style. And this thing is awesome. I like this one just as much as I like this one, just because this one was made a long time ago by Microtana, trying to emulate some of the American stuff. A really cool Lafayette mega gauge. I love that thing. It's just big and just beautiful. A really cool old toolbox that was actually, these things came as kits, and they were let me turn that down a bit. They were used to people bought these in kits. They were designed for machinists. They came factory with the drawers, like already having a cloth lined stuff for like different uses, like keeping machine tools in there and keeping them from being damaged. Then all you'd have like all kind of different microscopes and different gauges. I saved this from the dump. A lady was going to throw it away, and they're actually kind of pricey if you look at them on eBay. Anyways, pretty cool find. It's supposed to have a front that goes on it, but it's missing. But I saved it. It was going to be thrown away, and it actually had tools in it, so I was able to salvage some of the cool old tools that were in there. Some things if you're going to do vintage electronic repair, if you get old radios that have vacuum tubes, or even not any vacuum tubes, anything really old sitting on the shelf for a long period of time with capacitors and transformers that produce voltage, really need to be brought up to life on the thing called a Variac. And that's what this is. This is a regular line voltage Variac. I can bring stuff up kind of slowly to line voltage, and I'll run it through an isolation transformer. If I really want to get really safe, I run it through a thing called a current limiting circuit, which will light up if there's a short. The bulbs will light up. The shorts and lights the bulbs and puts the load on the bulbs instead of the piece of equipment. This is a low voltage power supply. It's 0 to 15 volts. That's really good for testing any kind of radio for like houses, CB radios or car radios, whatever kind of like 12 volt kind of stuff you're working with, or up to 15 volts. This is a Tektronix 465 oscilloscope. Really cool for things that I do, because it's 50 megahertz oscilloscope. Tried and true. It's got a voltmeter built in it. I don't need a real high frequency oscilloscope because I don't do a lot of really modern repairs most of the time. And when I do, I don't require that. That's just mostly I look at a ripple current across DC power supply circuits, because that would create line noise on something with hi-fi audio. Okay, just a really cool Fluke FM24 or FM27. I'm sorry. This is a military grade Fluke meter. It was made back in in the early 90s, and they hold up to this day. They're really tough. I've got the high voltage probe and original case that it came with. Thank you, eBay. A neat old Variac can tote the load of about 5 amps. A big old Variac. That right there's a 20 amp, 110 volt Variac, and I do some of the bigger equipment pulls off of it. Just a basic power supply. Another basic power supply. That there, if you're going to do repair work on any kind of circuit boards, especially surface mount technology, or just really this thing is just handy altogether. This is a solder remover. It actually has the ability to heat the solder up, and when you do, and it's got a vacuum pump in it. It'll draw the old solder into this chamber right here, which you can empty once it's filled up, and that allows you to make easy component removal without damaging the leads or the traces on the board. This is one of the more basic soldering irons so far as stepping up into a variable power level soldering iron. It's got a heat shrink, or it's got a heat gun that comes off of it for doing heat shrink and heat. I can actually desolder stuff with that heat shrink, with that heater, hot air tool. I can turn it up to 480 degrees Fahrenheit, and a multiple pin device can be heated up and removed off the board if necessary. Of course, I can show you a life hack. You can use a halogen bulb out of a car and heat up a circuit that's like a chip that's no good, and you can remove that chip off of that board with a halogen bulb. I'll have to do that one day. And just an old basic test radio. I'm working on a CB stuff. That's just a Cobra 25, but I've done a little modification there with a variable key, allowing me to adjust the key down, the dead key signal for forward swing. I utilize this right here to help incorporate with my It's 465 if I want to spectrum analyze a signal going in or out of something, especially when it comes to CB radio thing. I'm a CB guy, all barefoot radio stuff. And then we've got a shortwave radio I like to listen to. There's one station called WTWW. If you ever find it, Google it, WTWW. They transmit worldwide if you like classic rock, Chuck Berry. And they'd also do commentary on ham radio stuff, which I'm a big ham guy as well. So a really cool thing. There's some gamma matches to go on one of my antennas. I have a tube tester in that case right there. It's a B&K 747. One day I'll do a video of running it, and I've got a video loaded up of this I just did. It's really long, so it may not load up today, but you'll like that. That's a good video. So just a few things on the old test bench. This is some old microtons. I don't need all these meters, but I got them because they were neat, old, and vintage, and I brought them back to life. My main meter I use is that one right there, or this Simpson right here, or possibly even like sometimes I might even pull out this one. This one's really cool because I can test transistors without opening and closing the gate. I can just stick that in there, and I can tell a lot by especially the HFE output of a transistor. Some of the MOSFETs can lose HFE output because of just because, so you want to check that. They may still check good, but not properly switching because of the material could be halfway gone inside of there, the NPN or PNP. So anyhow, this video went a little longer than it should, but these are some of the basic things for doing electronic repairs. You need a soldering iron, you need a desoldering tool, and you need a good basic for people that don't really know a lot about analog meters. That digital meter is really easy to understand. It also has an auto range, so you don't mess nothing up by putting it on the wrong scale. Isolation transformers are real handy because it helps to isolate a current load so that you don't cause damage to the wiring in your house and or the thing that you're working on. Just some basic stuff. So anyhow, some D batteries. I got them. Whoop! There's about $150 worth of batteries. Let's go, Brandon. All right, I'm out. God is in control. Lots of love to all you people. Thank you for watching this super long video. Bye.